So today we will read about Vedic period. We had completed our Indus Valley civilization and today we will start our Vedic period. The Aryans. Many historians have given various theories regarding the original place of the Aryans. However, the Central Asian theory given by Max Muller is the most accepted one. The Boghajokoy inscription in Asia Minor, Turkey, which mentions four Vedic gods Indra, Varuna, Mitra, and Nasatyas, proves Central Asian theory as their homeland. Muller's theory states that the Aryans were semi-nomadic pastoral people and originated from area around the Caspian Sea in Central Asia, entered into probably through the Khyber Pass in Hindu Kush mountains around 1500 BC. The Holy Book of Iran, Jend Avesta, indicates entry of Aryans to India via Iran. The Arctic Home in the Vedas is a seminal work on the origin of Aryans presented by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, where he claims that Aryans originated in the Arctic region. Early Vedic or Rig Vedic period region. The early Aryans settled in eastern Afghanistan, modern Pakistan, Punjab, and parts of western UP. The whole region in which the Aryans first settled in India is called the land of seven rivers or Sapta Sindhava, the Indus and its five tributaries and the Saraswati. Political organization. Monarchical form. Tribe was known as Jan and its king as Rajan. He was the leader in battle and protector of tribe. His office was not hereditary and was selected among the clansmen by Samiti. The Rajan was not an absolute monarch, for the government of the tribe was in part the responsibility of the tribal councils like Sabha, Samiti, Gana, and Vidatha. Learned and virtuous tribemen could attend Sabha, which performed judicial functions. Even women could attend it. On the other hand, all tribesmen could attend Samiti, the main function of which was to elect and re-elect Rajan. Many clans or vis formed a tribe. The basic social unit was the Kuda or the family, and the Kudapa was the head of the family. The king was assisted by a number of officers, of which Purohita was the most important. Next important functionary was the Senani, leader of the army. Although there was no regular or standing army, the military technique of the early Aryans was much advanced. The Aryans succeeded everywhere because they possessed chariots driven by horses. There was no regular revenue system and the kingdom was maintained by a voluntary tribe. Bali, 1/6 of the agricultural produce of the subjects and the booty won in battle. Villages were headed by Gramini, who used to represent village in Sabha and Samiti. Later, Gramini was handed over the charge of Brajapati, also an officer who enjoyed authority over the pasture ground. Social life. When the Aryans entered into India, there was already a class division in their tribal structure. As they settled among the dark aboriginals, the Aryans seem to have laid greater stress than before on purity of blood, and class divisions hardened to exclude those dasas who had found a place in the Aryan society and those Aryan who had intermarried with the dasas and adopted their ways. Gradually, the tribal society got divided into three groups: warriors, priests, and commoners. Later, the fourth, dasas or Sudra, was also added. The term Varna, first mentioned in Rig Veda, was used for color. The Aryans being fair, the dasas dark. Family was the basic unit of society. The family was patriarchal. Head of the family was male in nature, but women enjoyed equal power with men. Marriage was usually monogamous, marrying one person, and indissoluble. But there are few instances of polyandry, more than one husband, levirate, marriage with brother's widow, and widow remarriage. There are no examples of child marriage. The marriageable age seems to have been 16 to 17. The word Arya came to refer to any person who was respected. Aryans were fond of Soma, Sura, food, and dress. Soma was drunk at sacrifices and its use was sanctified by religion. Sura was purely secular and more potent and was diapproved by the priestly poets. The Aryan loved music and played the flute, lute, and harp. There are references to singing and dancing and to dancing girls. People also delighted in gambling. They enjoyed chariot racing, both men and women, or ornaments. Economy. Their bronze smiths were highly skilled and produced tools and weapons much superior to those of Harappan cultures. There were artisans like carpenters, weavers, cobblers, potters, etc. Aryan followed a mixed economy, pastoral and agricultural, in which cattle played a predominant part. Most of their war were fought for cow, called aghanya, and most important form of wealth. Cattle were in fact, a sort of currency, and values were reco. Naid in heads of cattle, man's life was equivalent of that of 100 cows, but they were not held sacred at this time. The horse was almost as important as the cow. Duhita referred to daughters as they milked the cows. River in Rig Veda. The modern name and Rig Vedic names. First, I will read modern name and its Rig Vedic name. Indus was called Sindhu, maximum mention. Jhelum was called Vitasta. Chenab was called Askini. Ravi was called Purusini. Bias was called Vipasa. Satlej was called Sutudri. Gomati was called Gumal. Kuram was called Krumu. Ghagar was called Drisadavati. Kabul was called Kubha. Gandak was called Sadanir. Besides this river with specific names, the Rigveda also mentions Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati and other rivers. Type of marriages mentioned in manuscript. Brahma. Marriage of a duly dowered girl to a man of the same class. Dalwa. Marriage in which a father gave his daughter to a sacrificial priest as part of his feast. Arsa. A marriage in which a token bride price of a cow and a bull was paid to the daughter's father. Prajapataya. Marriage in which the father gave the girl without dowry and without demanding bride price. Gandharva. Marriage often clandestine by the consent of the two parties. Asura. Marriage by purchase. Rakshasa. Marriage by capture. Paisacha. Marriage involving the seduction of a girl while sleeping, etc. The last four types are condemned in the society. Anuloma marriage was the marriage of a higher Varna man with a lower Varna woman. Pratiloma marriage was the marriage of a lower Varna man with a higher Varna woman. Standard unit of exchange was cow. At the same time, coins were also there. Gold coins like Niska, initially a gold necklace, Krishnal and Satmana. Gavyuti was used as a measure of distance and Godhuli as a measure of time. Lived in fortified mud settlements. Physicians were there called Visakas. The staple crop was Yava, which meant barley, that which we also call jaw. And religion. The Aryans personified the natural forces and looked upon them as living beings. They practiced naturalistic polytheism, that is, worship of more than one god. There are similarities between Rig Vedic religion and Iranian Avesta. The most important divinity was Indra, who played the role of warlord, breaker of forts, Purandar, also associated with storm and thunder. The second position was held by Agni, fire god. He is considered as an intermediary between gods and men. Varuna occupied the third position. He personified water and was supposed to uphold the natural order. He was ethnically the highest of all Rigvedic gods. Somo was considered to be the gods of planet. Maruts personified the storms. Some female deities are also mentioned, like Aditi and Usa, who represented the appearance of dawn. They didn't believe in erecting temples or idol worship, worshipped in open air through yajnas. Vedic sacrifices were of two types, conducted by householder, those that required ritual specialists. Thank you. Next we will read about later Vedic period. Thank you.